It's a great day to be alive and an artist. My name is Matt with the Hat, and today in our acting audition series, we are going to go to Guidepost number 3, which is called The Moment Before. So last time we talked about conflict being the essence of all drama. We talked a little bit about action, that we're going to use action to get what we are fighting for, right? So, and guidepost number 1's relationship, right? So we have a very specific relationship. Guidepost number 2 is conflict. What are we fighting for, and how are we fighting for it? We use action to do those things, and it's good to make those actions physical because they're undeniable, right? And now we're at guidepost number 3, which is the moment before. I think besides one of the things I'm going to later talk about, the moment before will have a profound change on your acting. If you start practicing the moment before, it will literally change your acting style completely. And what do I mean by that? There's a directing episode that I've done recently where I talk to people about improvising things. So when I direct a show, I will get I'll get some actors, and let's say they're husband and wife, right? And what I'll do is I'll say, hey, actor A and actress B, or actor and actor, or actress and actress, whatever. What I want you to do right now is we're going to set the stage. Where did you first meet? Oh, we met at a carnival, right? What state? What city? Da, 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 da. And they start talking and say, all right, cool. So what age were you? And they say, I was 17, I was 21, whatever it was. And then I say, all right, so over here, we're at the carnival now. And when I say action, you're going to be that age, and you're going to act out that time before, right? And they improvise this thing, not knowing what anyone's going to say. They're totally listening and reacting off of each other. It's very natural. It's very beautiful. And then the scene ends, and then we do their next scene. Maybe it's their breakup, right? And they do that after they've improvised this scene, and that scene will never be the same again, right? The scripted scene will never be the same again. And that is because they now have a lived in history, right? So the moment before could be something you write out, but I'm a big fan of improvising it with your partner, but you can also write it out. It helps no matter what. But because they had lived in these people, if they're in a divorce scene, right, now they're dealing with, oh, I had this profound loving moment where I loved you for the first time, where I accepted you for the first time, where I let you into my life, and now I'm letting that go. And suddenly, boom, we've got a lot more conflict. We've got internal conflict, and we've got a lot more grief that comes out of that, and it's a profound way. So what is the moment before? It's simple. It's the moment before. It's imagining, if we're not doing it the improvisational route, it's imagining what happened 5 seconds before you entered the scene, right? You're doing a monologue. We'll go back to Romeo and Juliet, all right? Right before he goes into the balcony scene, right? Romeo ditches all of his friends. He climbs this high wall of his enemies to try to find her, right? So that's like the 5 seconds before this all happens, right? He's being teased by his friends, all of this, right? That's 5 seconds. Now that's in the script, all right? Other things that are in the script. You've got the Rosalind thing with Romeo. You've got that he's been sulking around because of her, right? But then there's other history that's not in the script. And that's where I find the most interesting thing. what is the relationship between Romeo and Lord and Lady Montague, his parents, right? Romeo seems very reluctant to join in on the fighting at the beginning of the play, very against it, actually. Why? What happened? What happened, right? And we start to imagine these things, right? What was it like growing up in basically a gang type of circumstance, like an organized crime type circumstance, either being the Montagues or the Capulets? What was it like growing up there? What was it like being the heir to that empire? And what are the pressures? Because the pressures of being in that high a status would be different to someone like Benvolio, who is an essential member of the family, but is not in line to inherit, right? And this is all happening at what age? I believe Romeo was 16. So there's all the normal changes that happens when you turn 16 mixed with, oh, there's a war going on between these two families. I'm supposed to inherit this war. I don't believe in war. I don't believe in killing, da 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 da. And all these things come into play. The more you live that history, the more that it works on your right brain, the creative brain, and the more that you're able to then go into the scene having experienced something. So are you out of breath at the beginning of the scene? I mean, just a simple thing. He climbed this orchard wall and he's going, but soft what light through yonder window breaks, right? He's got to catch his breath, but soft. What light through yonder window breaks? May I see something? Is the east and Juliet is the sun, right? And we take those moments and we take that history, the moment before, and we imbue it into our monologues. We inhabit it. And if you're going, that all sounds good, Matt with the hat, that sounds great, but how do I do it? Because that's one of the questions you get with young actors in particular. They'll get some direction from the director and they'll be like, yeah, but how, right? The first thing is try. That's the first thing. But the second thing is, what experiences can you draw upon, especially early on? What experiences can you draw upon? And they don't have to be as profound as I snuck into someone's house. If you've snuck into someone's house, you've already got that experience. You can go, it was like this, right? And then you're just working on the differences. But it could be something as simple as that time maybe you stole some bubble gum when you were really young from the store and you didn't want to get caught. It could be any of those times that you were rambunctious that would give you the feeling and the adrenaline rush of doing something that everyone else is like, oh, don't do this, da, 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 da. It's dangerous, right? Those times we embrace danger to have fun, that's something to draw upon, right? And so that moment before comes in, and then our history of what's happened before. How many people has Romeo known that have died in this conflict or have almost died or have been injured? We know at the beginning of Romeo and Juliet that the conflict is so much that the prince is saying, if this happens again, I'm going to kill everyone that does this, right? If we have the fights in our streets again, whoever is responsible will die, right? And so what has Romeo seen? What has Juliet seen? Has Juliet been protected from all this? We know Capulet is a very violent man, right? I mean, he's downright abusive to Juliet in when she says she won't marry Paris, right? What has her life been like? We know that her nurse has raised her, not her mother, right? So, and there's this weird relationship with her mother. There's this weird relationship between her mother and Tybalt. Like there's all these kinds of things that we go, okay, what happened the moment before this scene, right? We know that with Juliet, the last time we saw Juliet, Juliet recognizes, oh, mom wants me to be with Paris, and the guy that I really want to be with is from the rival gang. You know, my only love sprung from my only hate, right? And so something happens between that time and when Romeo jumps the wall where she's fantasizing about Romeo. What is that moment before? How can you make it your own? How can you make it real? And how can you make it fit your own qualities? I hope that this helps you. It's always great to do some improvisational exercises with a friend. Just making sure that this is different than the like Robin Williams type improv, right? It's very character focused improv. But I would encourage you to find someone that you could improvise that, because that becomes a lived in history. But nonetheless, this should help you. I hope it helps you. Use it in your monologues. See how those 3 guideposts so far are going to help you bring texture to your audition. I love you. You're amazing. Keep making art. Have a beautiful day.